Hello, I'm Joanne Pages and this is my colleague Lara Hoskins, and in this video we're going to give you a brief overview of this Moodle resource which is about teaching in English in international classrooms in higher education settings. The term lingua franca means English is used as a common means of communication for speakers of different languages. It's a shared language which is determined by its function and context, more than a reference of what some correct native speaker model of English might be. English taught programs, or as it's more commonly termed, English medium instruction, are both terms for disciplinary teaching given in English, using English as a lingua franca to create a shared space for teaching and learning. So what role do academic expertise and disciplinary culture play in lingua franca learning? Students and teachers already share a disciplinary language and culture. In any discipline, teachers aim to show students how to use the language of the discipline. All knowledge is constructed together through language. Academic experts are able to follow the discourse conventions of their disciplinary community. They know how to communicate within their discipline. It is this shared disciplinary language and culture, combined with a shared lingua franca or lingua academica, that supports and defines the learning context of English-taught university courses.
Okay, so what about the level of our students? What do we know about the language levels of students in France? In our French university context, there is a tendency to be pessimistic about English language skills. However, the situation is not quite as bad as you might think. With educational reform and la réforme de la licence, English has in theory been put into every semester in the bachelor's degree, okay, with the result that students should no longer drop English for a semester or two. The arrival of the Web 2.0, as you know, and sites like YouTube have had a positive impact on listening skills. It has never been easier to get access to authentic English, and all of these factors have had a positive impact. Another factor that is driving standards forward is the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Now, this has been used since 2001 to describe language levels. Now, these go from A1, A2, so beginners, okay, to B1, B2, and finally C1, C2, experts. Research shows that students in English taught programs should be B2 or better. However, the disciplinary boost means that a good B1 student in biology or in law will be boosted by his disciplinary knowledge. Teachers should be a B2 or above to feel confident in this context, or the best they can possibly be. But again, if an academic has a lot of communicational experience in his discipline, postdoc, conference communications, meetings, etc., disciplinary culture will provide a communicational boost. In reality, learner profiles can vary considerably between the four skills. So between speaking, listening, reading, and writing. With all this in mind, let's have a look at what changes when you teach in English.
When we look at the language levels of students and teachers involved in English taught programs, it's clear that we're a long way away from the immediate skills that we have in our home language. Even with good disciplinary culture and knowledge, learning in a lingua franca context is going to have an impact. Here are some of the impacts of a lingua franca setting which we need to take into consideration. First of all, reading. We know that reading can be up to 3 times slower or more, depending on the research that you look at. So students take longer to get through dense texts. The next issue is listening. The ability to listen to extended speech in a second language is fragile, even if you are a very good user of that language. Research findings vary. Is it 10 minutes or 20 minutes? But in any case, you need to be careful about what you present to the students by talking. Next, note-taking. Once again, the speed and the stamina of this essential study skill will be slightly reduced in English medium instruction or second language contexts. Finally, classroom interaction. For various reasons, shyness, maybe less confidence in their ability, classroom interaction is less spontaneous in second language learning contexts. So all of these things will have an impact on confidence and motivation, And all of this will have an impact on learning outcomes. And this brings me to talk about cognitive load. Okay, so if we look at this simple representation of cognitive load in learning, we can see that at every level, language is going to play a role. First of all, at the level in which the teacher presents the information to the learners, that involves language. Secondly, the kind of things that teachers ask learners to do are also involve language. Finally, the way in which our brains process information and actually learn things is also related to the way in which we use language. In fact, for all of these reasons, teaching in a second language, English medium instruction, English taught programs, whatever we call them, for all these situations, we need to take into account the issues and adapt our teaching approach.
And that's where this Moodle resource comes in. Okay, so in this Moodle resource, you'll find lots of different things, a wealth of activities and resources. The pink themes will send you to pedagogical issues of teaching in international classrooms. The blue themes will send you to language issues of teaching in international contexts. Here in orange, we have cultural issues. And finally, the green themes will send you to food for thought, articles to read, videos to watch. You'll also find things like an English diagnostic test, a description of the different European levels and what they can do, a teaching forum, language and technology toolkits to give you some of the tools for teaching in international classrooms, interactive quizzes about language, about teaching, and finally a reflective diary to help you reflect on the whole process. We've also put a list of good dictionaries that you can use. Okay. So this is all we wanted to tell you in this video that was brought to you by
Joanne Pages
and Laura Hoskins
from the Défi International programme at the Département Langues et Cultures,
Université de Bordeaux.
Bye.